Well, hello, 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 hello. How is everything going? How is your day today? How is everything? Were you able to start your day off with positivity, which is a very, very important focus? Definitely want to start the day off with positive affirmations and aspirations and positive thoughts. Well, before we get started, you know that this is a podcast for people dealing with anxiety, suicide, loneliness, and insomnia. Just by listening to this podcast, you're going to see a different view of life. You're going to have a different outlook on life. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to want to live. You know, the Bible says that I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. You shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. It's very, very important for us to understand that this is a podcast that's meant to relax you, meant to cause you to drift off to sleep, and it does work. I listen to it sometimes when I want to take a nap, and I'm like, wow, this is meant to open up your mind to see the other side of life that's meant for you. So, before we get started, I have a number I would like for you to take down. Please write down 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. This number is to the Suicide Lifeline. Please call them at the very moment you feel like you want to hurt yourself or possibly someone else. Also, I would like for you to know this month is very important because it's Suicide Prevention Month. See, there's an entire month dedicated to the prevention of suicide. And I need you to help me to help you do our part. So once you're over that hurdle of having those evil thoughts or those sad thoughts or depressing thoughts or wanting to hurt yourself or someone else, I want you to think about, if I don't hurt myself, this is going to give me the opportunity to look to the left of me or to the right of me and help someone else. So, this particular podcast is very special because this story is unique, and this story is all about an invitation. It's almost an invitation for anyone, really, including you. So today I was reading Psychology Today, and there was an article entitled 6 Reasons Why People Commit Suicide. 6 reasons why people commit suicide. They said the reasons were that they're depressed, they are psychotic, They are impulsive, they're crying out for help or attention. The person has the philosophical desire to die, or the person made a mistake. As I read the article, I was a little perplexed, and I felt the author, who happens to be a medical doctor, by the way, was a little harsh with no compassion at all. So I said to myself, if I were a suicidal person, I would be upset if I read the article and looked at the labels being placed upon the individual or the person or me or you. So tonight, since we're all into labels according to this doctor, let's talk about destroying and dispelling labels of fear, anxiety, loneliness, and despair. Remember, a few days ago, we talked about standing at the banks of the murky brook and how you wanted to get in the water and tread your way to the other side of happiness. But it was impossible because you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders. And when you look to the left and when you look to the right of you, there were lines of people just like yourself standing at that dirty, murky brook, holding on to dear life. But those lines, when you look to your left and you look to the right, every now and then, in faith, someone would take the initiative to place their foot in that water and begin taking those steps. And as you're standing there looking and saying in your heart, I wish that were me. I wish I could do that. And you're watching that person tread across that water. Some people were successful and made it to the other side, and some were not. Some allowed the water to overtake them. But yet and still there's this great desire in you that's saying, I want to live. I want to be happy. I want to be able to be just like that person right there. But I'm afraid. I'm afraid to take the step toward a better life. I'm afraid that if I get right in the middle of life and chaos and danger and excitement, that it may overtake me just like it did the individual over here. But each time you've tried to place your foot in the water, because of what you have experienced in your past, what you're dealing with in your present, it's making you very reluctant and hesitant on having a future. So you allow fear to overtake you and cause you to step back. Tonight, what I want you to do is look to your right and look to your left at the person and remember and say to yourself, they are just like me. Remember, this person is just like you. Everybody has challenges in their life. Some people boastfully speak of their challenges, some people suppress their challenges. But we all have challenges. So, what I ask you to do is to extend your hand to the individual to either side of you and begin to take 5 steps backwards. Yes, you're standing at that brook. Extend your right hand. I guarantee you that that person to the right of you is going to take your hand. And now, gracefully step back 5 times. Hold your partner's hand and walk backwards slowly till you have reached the 5 steps. Why 5 steps? Well, 5, spiritually, the number 5 means grace, balance, changes, and encouragement. Yes, before you take your journey across the long, murky brook, it is imperative that you travel with grace, humility, and style. See, the grace is going to allow you to accept the challenges that's going to come your way. And remember, the person that started walking in the water and the water began to overtake her and she lost the battle or he lost the battle. See, you're going to have to take that same journey. You're going to have to get in there, and when that water begins to overtake you, you're going to have that grace and that poise to say, I am going to make it through this. You're going to have a spirit of humility. Humility that says, if I take each step gracefully, no matter how high this water gets, and I take each step with humility, meaning that I am going to learn something from every experience that has really, really hurt me along this journey. You will be traveling in style. Another thing about grace is going to allow you to feel the love that is within you. You will be more appreciative, more thankful, and more at peace each step of the way. Remember, you're not traveling alone. You have a partner to the right of you, and you may have a partner to the left of you, only if they chose to accept your invitation as you extended your hand to them. When you are having travel companions, always remember you are accountable to whomever you take on this journey. So choose well. Oh, so you decided to journey with one person. Okay. The person on your right? That's good to know. Let's call this person higher power. I like higher power know him. I met him a few years ago. In fact, I've met him several times. I remember meeting him when I was a little girl. I also remember meeting him when I was having a really hard time in my life and I had no one to turn to. But I really remember meeting him when I lost a child several years ago. Well, a baby. Somehow we formed a bond and we are good friends. I am so glad you chose to travel with him. He is a great traveling companion. He'll listen to you. He'll let you make your own decisions, but he does ask you to confide in him before making those decisions. I know him very well, and once again, I can honestly say you are in good hands. Better than Allstate, I tell you. My advice to you, though, is no matter what happens, when you place your foot in that water, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how hot it gets, no matter how cold it gets, when you feel that grime coming in between your toes and you feel that water overtaking you, when you feel uncomfortable, no matter how uncomfortable you feel or how high that water gets, all I'm asking you to do is do not let his hand go. That is your travel companion. He's just as much responsible for you as you are for him. As you are standing back 5 steps looking at that brook in front of you, when you feel the release to walk, just start taking those steps. But no matter how difficult it gets for you, no matter how much stress you feel, no matter how much pain you feel, no matter how much hurt you feel, no matter what you do, I don't care what you do. Stay close. Listen to his leadership. Take the guidance. Take the criticism. Take the hurt. Take even a little bit of the pain. But once again, I ask you, and I command you to not let his hand go. I love you and I need you. You're going to have a safe journey till we meet again. And as I always say, good night, sleep tight, and don't you dare let those old bed bugs bite. Bye bye.